today we are doing a full face holiday tutorial focusing on building a beautiful glamorous red lip because I think that is just so perfect for the holidays. Any holiday party you have, family party, or office Christmas party, I think this would be universally perfect for. I really do my makeup so that it looks good in real life and not just in photos, and I think that's really useful for me, at least when I watch tutorials, if they are geared to that. So you'll see that this tutorial also includes my top 3 tips on how to get really full looking red lips, and you'll see that this video also includes my top 3 tips on how to achieve really full looking glamorous red lips that still look natural, which is a really fine balance. So without further ado, let's get right into how to create this look. So we are starting with a bare pale winter face, and I'm using my everyday moisturizer, which oddly enough is actually a night moisturizer by Neutrogena. It's the Rapid Tone Repair Moisturizer, and it actually has retinol and vitamin C in it, so it's really good, but don't ever wear it in the sun. The second product that I'm using is from MAC. It is their Radiant Rose Concealer, which adds such a nice brightening, livening effect to your face. I'm loving it. Then I'm using my current favorite foundation, which is the Clinique Acne Solutions BB Cream. It's in the lightest shade, but I will link everything like that down below. You can see it only takes a full drop to achieve what I would say is medium to full coverage, but it looks so natural. I would say it has like a really satiny matte finish. It lasts so well on the skin, and it's so easy to use that I don't even feel like I need to use my beauty blender for this. I just use my fingers. Make sure to tap it in and then wipe off any excess around my eyebrows especially, and on my lips. My first #1 tip to get fuller looking lips is to make sure you exfoliate them, and you can use a fancy product for that, but I just like using a good old-fashioned damp washcloth and then some lip balm. Now, to bump up the brightness underneath my eyes, I'm using the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, which is super pigmented. And again, I just blend it in with my fingers because I find that it really melts into the skin really well that way. And I use it a little bit around my T-zone and especially under my nose because I have a lot of redness there. Then I use my Bourjois Translucent Setting Powder with a fluffy brush so I don't use too much. And then I'm going to go in with my angled brush from Hakuhodo and my new contouring palette from Kat Von D that I got in the Sephora VIB sale. I am adoring this. I use the darkest and lightest shades because I find they're the most cool toned and the best for winter. And you can see how much I apply, which is not very much at all because I'm not a fan of that really stark, harsh contoured look. So I really make sure to blend everything really well and make sure to put some on my neck, around my jawline, and a little bit on my nose. Then I go in with my favorite blush of the season and of life, which is Tarte's Amazonian Clay Expose. This is the brand new one I just bought because I used up the previous one. And I apply it high up on the cheekbones, and I do apply quite a bit of this because I really think it adds a lot of life to my skin during the winter. And if I find that the edges are looking a little bit too harsh and pigmented, I go back with a little bit of translucent powder. And then I apply the yellowy powder from the Kat Von D palette under my eyes to set my concealing work. Then it's time for highlighter, probably my favorite part. This is the Champagne Pop one from Becca. I really like it. You'll see it show up more as I do close-ups in this tutorial. It really adds a beautiful natural glow, and it's got that really pretty apricot tone. My favorite primer for the eyes is the NARS one, so I'm applying a little bit of that to make sure that my eye look lasts all night because we're going to be doing quite a bit of blending with that. We don't want our work to go to waste. And I'm using the 2 lightest shades on the left-hand side of the Kat Von D eye palette in my inner eye corner and brow bone. And these are both matte. The whole palette is actually matte. And I find that this really helps to create a great canvas for the rest of the work we're going to do. Then I go in with the peachy shade to add a little bit of color to my outer eye area so that the whole thing doesn't look too sort of dark and you don't get too many veins showing through as well. I then use some warm contouring shades from the outside of the palette on the left-hand side into my crease, and you can see how at first it looks really weird and then you blend it in and it starts to look really good and really adds definition to your eyes. To add even more definition for evening, I then use the black shade from the palette, which is so pigmented. It's probably my favorite black that I've ever used, and I really like the way it gives a little bit of a cat eye effect to do that, but you want to soften it a little bit, and I actually use the red shade from this palette, which I thought added a really nice warmth to the eyes. It looks scary in the palette, but looks good in real life. And yes, I just licked a Q-tip. In case you're wondering, I really like using that trick to clean up my work with my eyeshadow. I then go over with a little bit of highlighter, and the whole thing is so perfect and cleaned up, you wouldn't believe it if you haven't tried it. You need to. Now it's time to create my signature cat eye. First, I curl my lashes using my shoe eye curler, and then I go in with my Lorac liquid eyeliner, and this is actually a brush tip, which really helps if you're a beginner, or even if you're a pro like I am. I still find it easier than any other way. It's pretty hard to film, but I tried my best to show you how I just kind of gradually go back again and again until I'm happy with the overall look. Now, my favorite mascaras are either the L'Oreal Voluminous or the CoverGirl Lash Blast, and today I'm using Lash Blast because I wanted a really defined look. I go and make sure that all of the outer lashes are covered, and then I realized I forgot a step. But it's neat because now you get to see the look both matte and with a little bit of shimmer, so I added a little bit of kitten eyeshadow into the inner eye corner. Now it's time for the brows, and I find my makeup never really looks right until I do this. I'm using the Anastasia Brow Pot. It's a nice soft gray brown that looks really natural because the outside of my eyebrows are super thin, and then I go ahead and set it with her brow gel as well so it'll last all night. We are doing falsies in this tutorial. I promise they're not as scary as you think they are. If you've never tried them, I have kind of a foolproof way that works for me. I basically always use Duo eyelash glue because it's amazing, and then I use the end of a brush to apply it to half lashes. If you're wondering why I cut it in two, it's because it looks so much more natural and really creates that cat eye. I pretty much never wear a full set of falsies because I think it looks really fake, and they're usually too big for my eyes as well. I apply them with my fingers. A lot of people like to use tweezers, however, so you'll have to find what works for you. And then I go ahead and conceal any of the little bit of glue that is visible. Usually you can get a little bit of shine from it in pictures, so I like to go over with eyeliner for that reason. And now we're done with the eyes. I'm so happy with how it turned out, and we're going to do a beautiful red lip. So I'm actually using a Sephora Ruby Red lip pencil, which has a really nice blue undertone that makes your teeth look a lot whiter. It's really creamy, easy to use, and cheap as well. It retails for, I think, under $8. And you can see I do definitely color within the lines when I do my lip liner. I know it's popular to go outside your lip line, but when you're doing this bright of a look and you want to look really classic, I think it can end up looking really clownish if you go too far. So I have other ways of achieving a full lip. I then go in with Sephora's Lip Stain, which is so gorgeous. It has a little bit more of a warm tone to it, which also really helps to make your lips look fuller. So that's my second tip for you. Through trial and error, I figured out that if you use a cool toned lip liner and a warm toned lipstick or lip stain, it ends up making the overall look really pop. And thirdly and finally, probably my best tip to make your lips look fuller is to blur the edges of your lipstick with your finger and or a Q-tip, which really helps to add a little bit of volume without making it look as fake as if you had overlined them. It really gives that juicy, full look. So here's the finished look. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed doing a good old-fashioned makeup tutorial, so if you liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up to let me know you would like to see more of these types of tutorials. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so I can see you in my next video.